we kind of had this vision to start this organization to really help parents, engage parents, and how we can help them navigate the sport journey, because we just saw so many parents, in a time where they're supposed to be enjoying being a parent and watching their kid play. I mean, they're stressed out, man. I mean, it's not even any fun, and the kids suffering, the coaches suffering, the parents suffering. And so that's really our mission. How do we help restore the joy of sport for parents, coaches, and athletes? And I believe we have a prescription to do that. And we'll talk more about that.
Okay. So, April, you really started laughing there when you started when he was talking about the parents, we should be enjoying it. So let's talk about you and me, and the sports journey we've been on. I think it's fair to say I've grown a lot.
Yes.
So, we have our oldest is 21, our youngest 14. Is 14, and they're all very avid sports players. I got it so wrong early on with our 20-year-old.
Well, and our 21-year-old doesn't play anymore because I got it really wrong.
So so you admit that you got it wrong.
Oh, I definitely got it wrong.
So tell us, April, tell us what you got wrong. What did you do that man, I wish I'd had Coach E in my...
That's actually, he taught me that. When Cooper was 8, he's our 20-year-old. When Cooper was 8, he asked to be on this travel team. And of course, at the time, he was all excited and ready to go. And then I got so excited about it and so into it, I made him go every Saturday from 8 till probably 12 or 13. And even when he didn't want to go, I was like, no, no, we got to go. We got to go. We got to go. Because I thought he was going to play for the Atlanta Braves, I guess. So after a while, he was like, Mama, I don't want to do this anymore. And I was like, yes, you do. And I made him play, which now he either had to play or get a job. So he did choose to play a little bit in high school, but his senior year, he would have quit if it was not for me. Cause he has a little anxiety, and being on the field just was too much for him. And I just made him do it. And now I look back on that and think, we have a 18-year-old that would rather be on a baseball field than go to a birthday party or go, he missed prom to be on the baseball field, and he loves it. Cooper didn't, and I messed it up. I wanted it more than Cooper did.
All right, Coach. So I'm sure this is not a unique situation.
Oh man.
So based on what April's talking about there, talk to the mamas like April and give us that help us out, man. We get it wrong so many times.
And so here at one, I want to give you some grace, because one, you're not alone, and you didn't mess it up. Hindsight's always 21. You know what I mean? It's so much better than what we think. And so to you, April, I want to give you some grace there. But, one of the things we see with parents is, and this is a perfect demonstration of it, we call it a misapplication of love. We love our kids so much that we think, hey, I'm going to do these things at this time, and here's what it's going to produce in the future. And so many times that goes south for us. A lot of times what I do with parents, I'll give them a sponge and ask them to dip it in water. And I'll say, all right, when I start counting, wring that sponge out. And I'll start counting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At like 12 or 13, the sponge has no water in it. Well, then I give it to another set of parents, and they dip it in the water, and I start counting 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then eventually the sponge is out of water. And so here's what you have to do as a parent. You have to decide how early and how hard am I going to squeeze that sponge? Because if you squeeze it too early and too hard, it has no water left in it at like 12 or 13. And that's what we're seeing. The other thing I want to address here in April, I'm granting myself permission to speak honestly and openly on this, because I think we're all here to get better. The other thing that I ask, we talk about our kids, we will say this, we'll say, man, they just have anxiety. Mm-hmm. And I do believe that's true. But sometimes I think the anxiety that we have is created and put on steroids by us, the parents and the coaches that are leading them. And so one of the things we have to do as a parent, or even as a coach, I probably struggled more as a coach than as a parent, is we can oftentimes create that anxiety because we care so much for them. We want them to do good so bad that we almost like create this anxious environment for them. And so many times just taking a step back and saying a few less things opens the door for them to experience less anxiety. I even say, people will ask me, how I deal with it with my kids. I mean, I try not to even talk about it. Like, no joke. One of my best friends is coaching my daughter, And like 4 weeks into the season, he's like, hey, how's Brooke saying volleyball's going? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't ask her about it. I mean, volleyball's the least of my concerns in her life. Like, my job is to develop her as an individual. And if I give her the character and the foundation that's right, if volleyball's in her cards, great. If not, she'll be ready to go get a job or be a mom or whatever she chooses. And so, don't feel bad, but make sure that we're not getting one of the principles we teach at A Better Way. It's our first principle. Don't get so consumed with what matters now that you lose sight of what matters most. Generational expert Tim Elmore. I love the guy. He says this: the further out I can see, the better decision I'll make as a parent. And so if the only thing we can see is 8-year-old Little League baseball and how bad we want them to be the best, well, then we're going to have issues. And so, but if we realize we're raising them to be a productive human that can walk independently of us, we'll probably make better decisions.
Okay, so Coach, I hear what you're saying, and of course, so many of us miss the mark. But I think, no, I know what you're talking about is priorities. So I want to get in the weeds on this.
Okay,
a Division I successful coach, obviously, you know how to win, and winning is important. Yet you find a way to prioritize your own children to the point that you don't really know I don't want to say you don't know what's going on with volleyball, but maybe you don't. Tell us what does that priority hierarchy look like, and how do we know when we're getting it wrong? Because I mean, I admire the fact that your number one. You tell me I don't want to put words in your mouth. What's your number one priority? How do we stick to that? And how do you know when you're getting it right?
Well, I want to rephrase this for you real quick. Winning is fun. Excellence is a priority. So winning is fun, but like there's always one more thing to win. So if winning's your priority, dude, you're going down a never-ending road of nowhere. Because once you win one, I won a state title as a junior in high school. Guess what? I woke up the next morning. I had to win another one. You win a conference championship, you win an NCAA title, you win an Olympic gold medal. It's never enough. And so here's what I would say is, hey, winning is fun. No, dude, I love to win. I mean, I've been a winner in my life. I was on the first state championship team at my high school. We were super successful. I was successful as a Division I athlete. I mean, and success is relative. I had some success as a coach. I mean, winning is fun, but excellence is the priority, because here's what we know about excellence. Excellence crosses all boundaries. Listen, if your goal is to win in marriage, you're going to struggle. All right. Because you're going to be fighting all the time with another person if they want to win. I mean, it's never ending. But if excellence is the priority, well, then things work. There's alignment. And so what we have to do is, again, we have to make sure there's almost this fake sense of competitiveness out there. Parents will tell me all the time, well, we're just competitive family. I'm like, no, you're not. You're lazy. You don't eat right. You don't train. You're not competitive. You just hate losing, which makes you ultimately a baby, immature, And so to me, and I'll have parents tell me like their kid will throw their helmet and they're like, oh, he's just so competitive. I'm like, no, he's not. He's a baby, and you better deal with it now, because it only gets worse later. And trust me, I have to work those kinks out in my own life and family. And so when we go from outcome to process, then we start liberating ourselves to move towards something really, really special. And it lays the foundation for us to achieve at our highest potential. And so, the 10-year-old that wins in the, 10-year-old Little League, I mean, that's great and all, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's Happy Gilmore, gold jacket, green jacket, nobody cares. I mean, we've got to be preparing them for what's next. And so my deal is, hey, let's put winning in its proper place. Is it way more fun than losing? Yes. Do I like to win? Yes. Have I done countless hours of work that is crazy difficult to win? Yes, but it was excellence that was my priority. Hey, I want to be the hardest worker on the team. I want to be the best teammate. I want to show people respect. I want to win people over. I want to be a magnet, not a force field. If I do all those things, guess what I'll do? I'll probably win a lot.